Hi everyone and welcome. This is the second part of our horoscope for the year 2021 brought to you by 1millionnights.com, where we are taking a look at how the events of the year 2021 are likely to be playing out in the lives of Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius and Pisces natives. If your sun sign falls between Aries and Virgo, just check out the first part, which is dedicated for those signs especially. Also, if you're curious of how the events of 2021 are going to be playing out in a general sense, how they're going to influence the world, we also have a special recording taking a look at the astrology of 2021, and it also has a tarot reading. After these being said, let us begin the horoscope, starting with the sign of Libra. For those of you born under the sign of Libra, your cards are the Queen of Swords, the Ten of Cups, and the Seven of Wands. Now, natives born under the sign of Libra have been through some very tough years with a lot of challenges, especially emotional challenges, even legal challenges. Some people went through separations, divorces, they lost a lot of friends, they lost a lot of social connections and people from their lives. But when I say losses, this doesn't necessarily mean anything negative, because it was more like a purge. Whoever had no place in their lives just had to leave, just had to walk out, and on more rare occasions it was actually Libra natives who said enough is enough. Also, some natives might have had health problems, health related imbalances in their lives, so that also complicated stuff. And of course, all of those relationship challenges did reflect in their material lives as well, because the material expression of an interhuman connection is maybe a contract, an agreement, an official version of the relationship existing in someone's life. That means that either their financial situation suffered because they just didn't have as many opportunities in their lives as they were accustomed to, so to speak. Because if Libra natives are the best diplomats in the zodiac, well, you can imagine that every person they have in their lives, and regardless of the nature of the relationship, well, that person also represents an opportunity, a window of opening, a potential connection. So if they have any kind of needs, first of all, it is the people in their lives that can represent the path to getting what they need, what they want, what they desire, etc. Of course, this is mutual, but when it is exactly this area of life which gets blocked up, which suffers, karmic readjustment, and it is kind of natural that more areas of their lives suffer the same blockages and stagnations, and basically that feeling of greater ease and being in the flow. Libra natives are so very idealistic. Anything is possible. If you have a desire, you just have to wait for the opportunity to enter their lives. They are sure to meet the right person or the symbolic gatekeeper who can guide them to wherever they want to be. And it was exactly this side of their personalities and beings which was disillusioned, so to speak, in the sense that yes, absolutely everything is possible, and however they navigate through life is absolutely okay, it is correct, it works like a charm, but not so well when the whole world, when the whole of society is in chaos. So when basically the world is going through tough times, challenges, crisis, well, it is going to be Libra natives which usually suffer the most. Even if each Libra native, of course, is a distinctive person with their own distinctive star chart, karma, faith, path in life, but still when diplomacy and, peaceful relations, the ease through which people connect to each other is not present in those times, well, that kind of takes away, temporarily of course, the gift that the divine gave to the archetypes that Libra natives usually embody. And all of these, what I have been speaking about, are very important because the very first card that opens the reading is the Queen of Swords, and it is a really relevant symbol of air signs, so basically Libra natives. And it speaks about that mentally, intellectually, they have done a lot of work on themselves, reconfigure to readjust their way of thinking so that they can actually survive, so that they can still be relevant in the lives of those people who remained. And even more importantly, they had to truly work on embodying a certain kind of duality where on one side the Queen of Swords is very rational, it is the coldness of logic, but this can't be the only factor which dominates their mental spheres, because after all Libra natives are governed by Venus, so everything has to make a lot of sense to the heart, to feelings, to emotions, to, that idealistic and romantic outlook on life. Without that, life isn't worth living for a Libra native. So basically, the big karmic work was to create an inner harmony between thought, rationality, logic, and also the ways of the heart. Because when this equilibrium exists in the inner being of a Libra native, that actually gives them a blessing, a major blessing, when they stand from the position of the observer. They can embody a very, very healthy neutrality, where their lives are not just doom and gloom because rationally that is the only thing that makes sense, but neither are they, in the clouds dreaming of the most wonderful future, but a little bit of both. They know what is not possible in the present moment due to logic and rationality, but they also know that, anything is possible regardless of how complicated life is in the present moment. And it is this balancing which actually makes them possess the powers of the Queen of Swords. And her greatest power is that her plans are simply accomplishing themselves because they're so very well thought out. And another element which is very suggestive to the Queen of Swords, well, these plans are not, optional. They aren't, based on what Libra natives would desire and on wishful thinking, but they are needs that they have to have fulfilled in their lives very, very soon. So it all depends on what each Libra native has going on in their lives in the present moment. Some of them need, for example, a new home. Others need to sort out some paperwork, the legal side of their lives, while others still have to get an appointment at the doctor's to have that surgery or procedure that they have delayed. So basically, this Queen of Swords represents their plans to accomplish their imminent and urgent needs. And because all of these plans are very well thought out, they're rational, and also really optimistic, this works like a really good combination of inner energies, leading up to the Ten of Cups, which means fulfillment. It is simple as that. Each week, each month, and even, each day is going to be a new opportunity to make their lives more stable, more secure, more comfortable. and because they're actually focusing on this with optimism, with hope, with belief, but also sound logic, each and every day is definitely going to get better. Each and every day is going to be a new milestone in their progress until they just wake up to the fact that their lives already look so very different, that their lives are already reflecting the Ten of Cups. So completion, fulfillment, being satisfied with themselves, with their choices, with their actions, with their preferences. And this state of feeling fulfilled, feeling a certain kind of satisfaction, even spiritually, because if so very many good things happen to you each and every day, regardless if they're just small baby steps or another milestone and then another milestone reached, it still reflects divine support, that something external is actually helping them, conspiring in their favor, smiling upon them, if this makes sense. And the Ten of Cups also represents moments of sheer good fortune, because when something is actually not possible through logical and rational means, no problem at all. We have Jupiter in Pisces from May, and that means good fortune, which can enter our lives in the most mysterious and unusual ways. So when something needs to be fulfilled, when something really needs to happen for the greater good of, let's say, a Libra native, but this is kind of generally true for everyone, and there is no, mental blockages, there is no self-defeating patterns, no negative self-talk. In other words, nothing to truly block the intervention of the universe, well, then everything is going to work like a charm. And by the end of the year, Libra natives are going to embody that Seven of Wands energy, which is not negative whatsoever, because it just means that they will have the wisdom and the inner motivation to protect, preserve, and basically do everything in their power to enjoy what they have created for themselves, all those needs being fulfilled, that state of satisfaction, of completion, of being okay in your life, being okay in your skin, having done the hard part of this in the previous years. Well, naturally they will want to protect this, preserve it, and value it, which means simply that they will truly pay attention to who they accept in their lives, who they trust, to their own psychology, to their own thoughts, to their own patterns, everything that they are creating mentally in their lives. They will pay close attention for that to be as balanced, as healthy, as supportive and creative as possible, which is a really good sign, because it means that all of this completion or being satisfied with your life is for the long-term future, because you're also investing all the work to preserve it and make it so. Make it a permanent part of your life, permanent part of your human experience. So all of those lessons that the universe, karmic forces, and life has taught you in the past couple of years, well, those are there to stay in your heart, in your mind, and you will not allow unconscious forces and patterns to take control of who you are and how your life has to play out anymore. And basically the future does look bright after this, because when you're totally okay in your life, you're totally okay with yourself, well, every other new opportunity is going to be one to grow, one to evolve. And if you're careful not to fall into temptations, well, then that simply means that you're so ready to just embrace and enjoy life. For natives born under the sign of Scorpio, your cards are the High Priest reversed, the Two of Wands reversed, and the World card. Now, first of all, the High Priest reversed is not anything negative, but it actually comes from within you. It is like an inner wake-up call which just invites you to try your very best and live your life differently than you have done until this present moment. So this means that certain long-term routines and patterns, daily rituals, the way you always used to do certain things, and this can be from the most simple and basic things, when you have breakfast or what you do in the morning, how you do your work, how you manage your time each and every day. These are the things that are going to change first of all. And I repeat, this is an inner wake-up call, so it is not like something wants you to do this. Neither is it even as an inspiration from anything outside, but rather it is like an inner calling to do something different. And the very first thing that you can do, and it is in your power to do differently, well, those are your routines, your customs, your rituals, so to speak. For very many Scorpio natives, this will lead to a much more healthier lifestyle, maybe a little bit of detox from time to time, because you are going to see how truly beneficial these healthier routines are to your body and your whole being. But of course, this isn't just physical activities, this can be spiritual, intellectual, mental, etc. But it isn't exactly just this minor change of routines which the High Priest reverse signifies, but rather the consequences. Because when you try your very best to change the basics, well, bigger things are definitely going to follow. And those bigger things are, you are going to attract in your life certain experiences, certain opportunities to live things which you haven't had the chance to do in this lifetime yet. So this kind of means that the year 2021 is going to be all about experiencing new things, trying new things. And this is perfectly true from the smallest things, like tasting foods that you never had the chance to taste, trying out certain exotic fruits, traveling to certain places where you have never had the chance to go before, trying out new sports, new hobbies. So it can be absolutely anything, as I said, including intellectual activities, something regarding spirituality or how you relate to other people. So it isn't just like allowing the new to enter your life, but also embracing it, living it, and feeling it, because the High Priest is the symbol of Taurus. So our senses, our physical senses, everything that delights us, everything that helps us in order to experience life from an earthly understanding, of course. And this is one of the ways how someone can enter into the state of flow, because once you initiate this symbolically from the inside, as in changing your immediate routines, all of those things that are perfectly in your power, the universe and even your own karma is going to mirror this. So this will become something almost automatic that keeps on happening in your life. You will just attract everything that is new, everything that is unusual, everything that can offer you a different experience, a different side of things. And of course, not everything is going to be like overly positive, because when you try out new things, there are going to be some things that resonate with you and you really, really enjoy. But there are other things which you will say, well, not again. But those are also equally as important because you already have the experience. So it makes you richer, it makes you more fulfilled and complete as a being, as a consciousness. And also this is one way to live life much more freely, because that High Priest reversed also represents that a lot of obligations, formal relationships, official connections, for example, with some institutions or banks or, maybe employment, etc. Well, those are also going to change radically, where everything that you no longer need, everything that is not a necessary presence in your life, you will just release it. You will just let it go. And the end result is greater freedom, less obligations, more time for yourself, more time to experience new things along with those people who really, really matter. And more importantly, this High Priest reversed is followed by the Two of Wands. Of course, it is in reverse position, but that is nothing negative once again, because it just means that you already know what is important for you in your life. You know all those things which you don't want to change because they're important for you, because you love them, because they're part of your life story, because you know who you are and what you want to do here. So we can look at this Two of Wands reversed as the choices you have already made internally, and naturally those are seeds of intention that you have already planted into the universe. So in the year 2020, you will harvest what you planted. And this is also the reasons why this year is going to be all about doing new things, because all those things that you already know you need and they're not gonna change, well, because you have done some significant inner work or truly initiated everything that you need to complete in your life in the past years, even if those initiations haven't led to their completed versions, well, you are going to keep getting those all throughout the year because you already worked for those. And this is kind of gonna run on autopilot, which also means mental freedom, because you won't have to focus on them anymore. You don't have to use your ambition, your inner strength in order to try to solve those problems, in order to try to attract in your life what you need, because that will just come kind of naturally with greater ease. So you will have all the time and opportunity and energy to focus on all those new things. And finally, your reading is closed by the World card, which has a really great impact, because it means that on one hand, in the year 2021, you're going to get at least one or more massive, big and important karmic completions, as in totally closing the distant past, the childhood. So if you have had problems or went through some really hard times, maybe some traumatic events in the distant past, well, it is going to be this year which closes them by offering you some kind of compensation. But this doesn't necessarily have to mean material things or money or anything like that. Although that isn't excluded if someone has that specific version in their lives, it kind of just means that you are going to have your justice and you're going to be able to see the big picture of why things happened the way they happened, of why you had to suffer certain wounds, why certain bad things had to happen back then, because they were all part of your story. They were all part of your training, so to speak, to get you exactly here where and who you are now today. But on the other hand, it also means stability, grounding, a sense of completion, where you just know that your life is okay already and you can just live it. You can do whatever you want to do with it. You know right from wrong. You have learned all the big lessons, because the World card is the symbol of Saturn. So it is Saturn rewarding you for everything that you have went through, everything that you have done, everything that you have suffered, but most importantly, passing the exams of life. You showed diligence, precaution, empathy, spirit of duty and responsibility exactly when it was the most important in this life. And for all those right choices, this Saturn is offering you a stability, groundedness, and safety. May that mean materially, emotionally, whatever you guys need in your situation. The year 2021 is going to give you the kind of life which you can work with, which you are comfortable with, and which basically gives you the chance to be powerful, gives you the chance to be permanently present and live in the now, live every moment as it comes. For natives born under the sign of Sagittarius, your cards are the 5 of Coins reversed, 5 of Swords reversed, 5 of Cups reversed. Now this is a combination which is a really big surprise even for me, because think about the synchronicity. All of the cards are 5s, all of the cards are reversed, and the year 2021 bears the numerology of 5. And also, all of these cards in upright position would represent something rather negative. 5 of Coins upright, it can mean illness, physical illness, disease, poverty, material loss, feeling left out quite materially and physically in the cold, being abandoned by your loved ones, for example. 5 of Swords can mean manipulation, backstabbing, toxic relations, or your own self-sabotaging thoughts and mental patterns. And 5 of Cups, disappointment, having to abandon your dreams, your desires, everything that makes you happy. A moment of really bitter disappointment, which also shatters your faith, your optimism, your trust in yourself and in the divine as well. So how magical that all of these 5s are in reverse position, which shows the road to recovery, the road to regeneration, the road to healing, and of course ultimately reversing the effects of all of those 5s when they were in upright position. So you kind of suffered everything that these 5s depict. You had moments of material loss or illness when your physical life was almost in danger. For some natives, this 5 of Coins can also represent stress-related problems which almost broke down your physical body, or a depression which almost became like a physical illness. The 5 of Swords, bad relationships, or relationships which were once really good and healthy, breaking down or becoming toxic. So regardless of whose fault it was and how it played out, you felt betrayed, backstabbed, manipulated, lied to at one point, and that also caused suffering. And at the same time, the 5 of Swords is also self-deception, self-manipulation. You might have had really negative, destructive, and self-defeating thoughts and fears, insecurities, or it can also represent where a legal situation was just like all roads blocked, all doors closed, without options, without any possibility to escape it. Or it can also represent unwise legal choices, signing a contract which turned into a big problem or obstacle, taking a loan or maybe buying something which turned out to be really, really unfavorable. But I think from all of these 5s, it is the 5 of Cups which was the most painful part, because life kind of let you down and disappointed you. Some of your dreams were broken, shattered. You had to accept a reality which went against your beliefs, which went against your optimism. You know, when we face a very tough situation, but we just know inside that, okay, things are really bad now, but somehow, some way, things are gonna be alright. But then it kind of turns out in a way where nothing is alright. And that moment when we have to face that, well, it didn't turn out alright at all, that kind of shatters our soul, it shatters our beliefs, our optimism. It is like a deep wound that the inner child suffers. So, long story short, these fives reversed represent a massive regeneration, healing, and a reversal of what you suffered. Coins is material things, either your physical body, or your income, or anything that can be related to your worth, even self-worth. Five of Swords, it is mental healing. You will snap out of that pessimism. You will snap out from all those fears, defeating thoughts, insecurities. You will no longer fear relations. You will no longer, suspect people of doing things against your greater good, or being way too selfish, or using you, tricking you. And most importantly, the Five of Cups. You will get your mojo back, your Sagittarian type of optimism, that power of faith that your guardian planet Jupiter bestows upon you from birth. That is what is coming back into your life, and that will heal everything. So, and not only heal, but reverse the effects of what you suffered in the past, or are even suffering right now as we speak. So this is really good news, because one way or another, the events of 2021 are going to be leading you and guiding you towards material regeneration. If that has anything to do with career or work, then it is that area of life. If it has to do with your health, then it is physical healing. It can also be a medical professional or some kind of healer entering your life and just helping you regenerate, helping you find your material balance. If it is depression or stress-related problems, then it is that part of life changing profoundly. The Five of Swords reversed, the powerful experience that the betrayals and the breaking down of relationships and even your own bad choices and naivety, all those things have turned into experience, knowledge, and profound wisdom. So no more. Your mind, your mindset, your thought patterns are already trained to identify these dangers in life even before they happen, so you will not be able to make the wrong choice, because you will just know what to do. You will smell or be able to detect a toxic person before they can make a nest in your heart. You will know a bad deal or a risky contract before you sign it. So this is basically your life experience and your acquired wisdom through suffering and pain, of course, working in your highest good, in your favor, to protect your life from all these hidden dangers. And that Five of Cups reversed. Some dreams that were shattered and broken are going to be glued back together, and you will be back on track. You will also have the courage and that emotional strength necessary to go back into the past and just reclaim your lost dreams and try again, but this time without drama, without massive expectations. You will know that even a symbolic fulfillment of certain dreams and desires is good enough for you, because you are doing all of this for yourself and not because anyone else, society, or your education or whatever demands this of you. You are doing it out of your free will to make yourself happy and to make your life significant for you personally. For natives born under the sign of Capricorn, your cards are the 8 of Swords, the 9 of Cups reversed, and the 9 of Pentacles. Now the very first card which opens your reading is the 8 of Swords, which generally doesn't depict a very favorable situation, because it kind of means that you're tied up mentally, or you are in a delicate situation where you're so full of obligations, of problems needing to be solved, that you have no freedom in your life. You just cannot move anywhere else. You cannot shift, you cannot change. The same problems, the same issues that need to be resolved are, the most important part of each and every day. So you feel a little bit trapped and you feel a little bit suffocated mentally, but also basically emotionally. And because of these problems, you just cannot see the future. You cannot anticipate the future. You cannot even have any solid future plans, because it is exactly the present which is totally blocked. But the good part here is that all of this refers to the past, even recent past, where one way or another Capricorn natives did face this in their lives, even if the causes for that 8 of Swords, the worries, the problems in life are of different nature for each and every person, with their own individual situation. For some, it can be the emotional part of life, where you just can't find harmony and balance with all those people who matter to you. For others, it's about not being able to, let's say, accomplish what they want to accomplish because of either material challenges or what is going on in the world. It can be something totally external. While for other people, they have sacrificed a lot to study or to kind of work towards a degree or a position, but all of a sudden their opportunities were cut off and they have to do something totally different for survival. And it is this part which irritates them, because they're so good and they sacrifice so much to do a specific activity, and they just cannot become relevant. They cannot do what they have prepared for a lot of years. But as I said, this mostly belongs to the past, because Capricorn natives already took off that blindfold so suggestive in the graphic depiction of this card, and they have the vision. They saw through things, and they saw everything that they needed to do in order to fix this situation. And that is exactly why that 9 of Cups reversed follows that 8 of Swords. Well, this represents the sacrifice. This represents the patience. This represents all that work they need to invest in order to get where they want to be, to get out of the symbolic spider web. And the reason why this 9 of Cups, personal satisfaction and happiness is reversed. So the opposite of this is that whatever they have figured out, the plans, the strategies, or the big vision of how they can shift out of the blockages, is that it, regardless of how they do it, it still takes time. It still takes a lot of patience. And Capricorn natives are not short on patience, but when it has been going through years, then it kind of even challenges their ability to tolerate the same thing, the same blockages, the same challenges. But what is different, that they know that they have to wait, they know that they have to endure, they know that they will have to work towards this each and every day, and they accepted it. They accepted that this is the sacrifice the universe, fate, or the situation requires, so that 8 of Swords was transformed from, the kind of spider web which is your prison, your grave, into their own intellectual network, their own means of getting what they want. They kind of alchemized, if this makes sense, the problems, the obstacles, whatever kept them in place, into opportunities. But of course, this is just symbolic in the sense that they made good use of an unfavorable situation and turned it into a potential. So of course, nothing is certain yet. But now this spider web is your own mental web where you can just attract opportunities in it. You are like the spider now at the center of that web, just waiting until something gets stuck in it, and then very quickly you run there to check it out, to see if you can use it, to see if that the prey that you caught, symbolically the opportunity, is something that you can turn into resource, or if you have to wait a little bit more. So it's almost like a fishing net already cast into the sea or the water, the lake, and you just waiting for that net to catch something. So even though you are still kind of caught, you are still waiting, you are still contemplating and planning, the big difference is that any second in the future, even tomorrow, that net of yours can catch something you can work with. And one way or another, this spider kind of tactic, which some natives aren't even doing consciously, it is just their inner intelligence, their higher selves, casting this net to attract opportunities into the ether in an unconscious way. And in this sense, maybe you should pay attention to your dreams, because they might signal what is coming if an opportunity is heading into your net. But anyway, this tactic is going to work like a charm, and it will lead you to the 9 of coins. And the 9 of coins is a truly positive card, because it means getting exactly to where you want to be in life. All the patience, all the determination, all the ambition, and all of those emotional sacrifices that you had to invest into this, that 9 of cups reversed, it is going to be more than worth it. Because even though the first half of the year will be a big work in progress, so that 9 of cups reversed moment, when you are sacrificing, when you are still not very happy with your situation, but you know that it is working, you know that the more you persist, the more you persevere, the more you display self-discipline, the better and more prosperous and more satisfactory the future you're working towards is gonna get. So by the second half of this year, you're already gonna be living it. That 9 of coins is financial independence. It means freedom. It means doing whatever you wanna do, investing your resources and work into whatever you want to. And of course, the option, if you want to spend time and allocate your time for yourself, for the pleasures of life, let's say, well, you will have the freedom to do so. So you will manage your life, your time, your priorities without the obligations, without the blockages, without the things that just don't depend on you and your choices. The Knight of Coins is exactly when almost everything in your life depends on you, your choice, and whatever you desire to do. Yes, absolutely, the road leading here, getting here, is not an easy one. And there are going to be moments, especially in the first 3 months of the year, when you're really gonna feel triggered, when you are going to be feeling really, really stuck, as if nothing that you have done until now worked or was worth it. but those are just gonna be moments, and they're not gonna be the major feeling of the year 2021. Those are just gonna be down moments or very intense anger moments, frustration moments. But by the second half of the year, those will be just a memory. You're already going to be living the kind of life that you have worked for and sacrificed for. For natives born under the sign of Aquarius, your cards are the Judgment reversed, Nine of Coins, and the Justice card. Now, the very first card which opens your reading is not really a big surprise, because as you probably know, the Great Conjunction, the once every 20-year meeting of Saturn and Jupiter opening the new cycle, took place on the 21st of December 2020 in your sign and in 0 degrees, which is even more impactful because it means something new, it means surprise, it means that all of us collectively are going to be experiencing something totally new, never seen before. But for you guys, for Aquarius native personally, this might not be as big deal, for the simple fact that experiencing new things, trying out new things, innovating, being visionaries and embodying your distinctiveness, and always, being attuned to the next, to the new, to the future, to whatever the future might bring, and of course anticipating it in a certain way. All of this is part of your personality. So we can actually symbolically interpret this as the whole world having an Aquarian type of moment when all of us in the world are going to be invited by the karmic forces to kind of taste how life would be for an Aquarian native. This is where the Aquarian side of our energy, because all of us have Aquarius in our charts, are going to be activated and they are going to dominate. So more and more and more people will have Aquarius kind of tendencies and resonate with everything that is specific to your sign and your personality. And for you guys, well, this is always good news, because that will make you basically magnetic in most areas of life. And when I say magnetic, it is not you guys attracting other people, but actually vice versa. You will be needed, you will be sought after. What you do, the way you do it, who you are, what you embody is gonna be wanted by everyone, at least to have a little bit of that in their lives. So work-wise, business-wise, and of course most importantly, socially, you guys are going to be the superstars of the next 20 years. In your own unique and distinctive ways. Well, those people who have a strong Aquarian energy in their charts are going to be the teachers, either officially or non-officially, and the way showers for the rest of us. So basically leadership positions or the inspirational force of an Aquarius native is going to be really, really amplified. And 2021 is just the very beginning. It is just the start of it. And that is exactly why the Judgment card is reversed. Because you guys don't really need it in an upright position. Because in an upright position, that is basically every day of your lives. It is who you are. Always being open, having an open mind, looking at things from more than one perspective, and naturally asking the opinions of the most relevant and masterful individuals, just for the sake of having a truly balanced and multi-dimensional perspective. Well, all of this has always been part of your life and your everyday normality. So this is more like something the rest of us need to learn how to do, or to do it even better. While for you guys, the judgment reversed is going back into the past, into very symbolic moments of your life story when you suffered something not so pleasant or something really painful like a big life crisis happened to you guys. And because of the pain, because of the unpleasant feeling of all of it, you may have always looked at that episode of your life through a very rigid and negative lens, like focusing on the most extreme negative expression of whatever you kind of suffered through. So the good sides, the positive sides, maybe the spiritual side of things was never truly taken into consideration, which of course has led to certain blockages, certain fears, and you not being able to be your Aquarian self in certain areas of life exactly because of those old bad perceptions and the negativity you attributed to those. So for you guys, the universe, through symbolic events or through basically just inner guidance, through your own personal epiphanies, your own personal sudden realizations, when that light bulb just illuminates in your mind, and it will show you that very many things which kind of traumatized you in the past were actually a necessary part of your stories, and more importantly, they have a lot of positive consequences as well. So basically you will have to change how you judge those moments. So this isn't exactly about healing them, healing the past, or overcoming traumas and blockages, not at all. It is simply judging it through a different mindset. Changing how you feel and what emotions it triggers from inside of you. And being able to see the big picture in its true sense. And why this is so very important is because if you actually acknowledge the fact that if things would have turned out in a different manner and all those bad things, bad events, things that caused you pain would have actually played out in a favorable way, in a delightful, in a positive way, you wouldn't be who you are today. And if fate would have decided to give you all those lessons now, who you are today, you would most likely suffer much more than you have done back when they happened. So you will understand the divine logic behind the timing, behind why you attracted this into your life back then. And even more importantly, you will see the blessing in something that you have once deemed to be the biggest curse or bad event, bad fortune of your life. And of course, these events are truly significant because they're not like mistakes or minor stuff. These are like really heavy things in someone's life, like losing someone very, very dear, a very painful divorce, a big conflict, maybe legal conflict, a massive failure in someone's career or livelihood, and anything as negative and as impacting like this. So one way it is absolutely natural that it will leave a bitter taste and that you won't be overjoyed for a lot of time and a lot of years that these things happened to you and you had to go through them. But now it is the time of true soul level maturization, so that whatever happened won't haunt you anymore, it won't block you spiritually more, and you can be yourself much more than you have ever could be in this lifetime. And another part of this is also taking responsibility for everything that was genuinely your fault, or maybe a consequence of an ego moment, or when you felt truly threatened and you lashed out in a way that had some moral or emotional consequences for others. And this is very suggestive of the Justice card, because it means that you will work towards fixing all your mistakes, fixing all those times in your life when you were unjust, when you were not as equitable as you could have been. And also you are going to make up for all those moments when you hurt other people. But of course these are loved ones, people who truly matter to you. But at the same time, the sword of justice is two-sided. When someone owes you an apology, when someone owes you any kind of emotional or moral or material compensation, when it was you who was the victim of another person's ego or mistake or whatever, you guys are also going to be recipients and beneficiaries of this karmic justice. So others will try and attempt to fix their own mistakes and whenever they have disadvantaged you. So it's not just you guys, it is not one-sided, it is going to be almost mutual, as if karma and faith and the power of the universe guiding you towards achieving this sense of justice, this sense of equity and equilibrium within your relationship, may they have a legal side or just a moral side. And of course, needless to say that this Nine of Coins represents that this is gonna be one of those years when you guys are the stars of the show. So that means a state of flow. If you're professionals, well, that means more customers. That means that people are gonna need you. People are gonna want to work with you. It can also have a social side to this, when people will want to team up with you. People will want to belong to the same group or whatever which you guys belong to, because you are going to be that much more inspirational. And even though you have Saturn in your sign for the next 3 years, it is not the Capricorn type of Saturn. So as long as you are moral, as long as you are equitable, as long as you're dignified and think about the well-being of other people as well, it will not limit you. Quite the contrary. It will give you what you need to be a light of hope or a helping hand in society. So this year is potentially going to be quite a good year for you, with big personal revelations, with epiphanies, with a sense of understanding your life story much more profoundly, and being so confident and optimistic and looking forward to your bright futures. For natives born under the sign of Pisces, your cards are the High Priest reversed, the Knight of Wands reversed, and the Magician. Now, first of all, the High Priest in reversed position does mean that the year 2020 might have been really challenging for you spiritually. This doesn't really mean that you have lost your faith or, your spiritual principles, or even religiously. You went through, very severe doubts. But it was much more like you truly tried to make sense of how all those unpleasant things that washed over our world in an instant and triggered, everything that we know that 2020 involves. You kind of try to figure out the greater meaning in all of that. What it means for the world as a collective, what it means for you personally, and more importantly, what does the divine want to show us and tell us through this? Because very many things from a strict spiritual or maybe philosophical perspective didn't make any sense in 2020. So basically you kind of waited for guidance. You waited to start feeling the presence of your own spiritual inner forces inspiring you, guiding you, sending you dreams that there is light at the end of the tunnel, that, everything will make sense, that there is a lot of good in all the negativity that is going on even in the present moment. And of course, needless to say that a lot of Pisces natives were collateral victims of whatever is going on in the world. Some were more challenged emotionally, others were challenged materially in their careers. Maybe business people might have suffered the most. But this is where Pisces natives weren't actually sucked into the drama. They weren't sucked into an endless cycle of suffering, because they had this inner call that they needed to stay as detached as possible and just try to go with the flow, figure out their own situations, and trust the divine forces, let's say, even when it didn't make that much rational and logical sense. So Pisces natives have already done a lot of inner work, and in the sense that they also shared this with others. They also inspired others. They tried to calm others, give them hope, do whatever it was in their power to just make each and every day a little bit more nicer, more meaningful, not to allow the drama and the negativity to dominate the present as much as it could. But this took a lot of inner power, this took a lot of strength. So spiritually speaking, Pisces natives are kind of tired. They don't want to investigate anymore. They don't want to spend endless hours in contemplation. They don't even want to focus too much on their problems and whatever they need to urgently fix in their lives. They just kind of want to be free, at least spiritually, if in any other way it's not possible. But I think a much better expression, they just want to be, and that's it. They just want to be themselves, and they're absolutely fine with all the good and bad in their lives. They just don't want to be caught up in that very concentrated, focused state anymore, where they both have to find answers to their questions. They want to understand. They also want to help others. They also want to inspire and motivate others. They simply just want to be. And this is really, really important, because this is almost like a very significant gesture that we project towards the universe, that we allow, that we are not in conflict, that we accept, we trust the wisdom even when we cannot rationally and logically see it. So that Knight of Wands is reversed, because there is no more rushing. There is no more sense of urgency, regardless of what it is or how the situation is. I'm not saying that there are not going to be like tight and tough and urgent situations in the year 2021 for Pisces natives. I'm saying it that these natives are not going to allow anything to feel like a black hole just sucking them in emotionally and spiritually. And it is exactly because of this permissive and very cooperative, gentle attitude, the universe is gonna solve a lot of their problems with greater ease, if this makes sense. Because they just stop being in a survival mode or trying hard. They kind of remove all resistance, and this will make things so very easy. Of course, this also involves that they kind of lose control over timing, and certain deadlines are not gonna be met, even when they are basically requirements of physical reality, like a date, a time. You have to complete this until this month, this day, this week, or certain documents have to be completed by this time. Now all of this won't work like, clockwork, so to speak, but neither will it cause any real problems. The universe will just solve everything at the right time, which also means that sometimes it will solve that way before the deadline, while other times just before things would have like serious consequences. But at the same time, not being fully in control of everything that's going on in your life will also bring a lot of very pleasant surprises, where certain smaller things that they might desire, that they wish, that they would like to have or bring them joy, will instantly, very, very quickly, surprisingly just manifest in a very, very short time. So the universe will have a lot of delights and surprises. And even though these smaller manifestations won't change their fate and their lives dramatically, but they will matter so much, because it will just give a feeling that everything is truly supporting them in life, and they have all the reason to trust their inner guidance, inner forces, their spirituality. So Pisces natives won't even be very focused on material things in their lives in the year 2021. They will live like more as if it's like a big mystery, a big puzzle game, or a story where they are the main character. And the good part is that they won't even need to be focusing on the material aspect of their lives, because as I said, things will just fall into place at the right timing. So basically the first part of the year, the first half of the year, is gonna be like a big dream where things just happen on their own without too much logic to it. They will also have a lot of unusual, almost mind-blowing experiences, but all of this kind of changes in the second half of the year, because the Magician card suggests that things are truly getting back on track. The first part of the year can be seen as a kind of spiritual rest, if that makes sense. But the second part of the year is gonna be when plans are gonna come online, so to speak. Many Pisces natives, in order to have a much wider range of opportunities in the future, so we are already talking about 2022 and beyond. So it is their plans for years which follow 2021. Many of them will learn new things, maybe initiate new studies, finish courses, maybe enroll on an apprenticeship. But of course, none of this has to be official. It can just be asking a friend to teach you something that is perfectly valid. But they will start to prepare themselves for the future, because they will know the more things they know how to do, regardless of their nature, the more tumultuous the opportunities for the future are going to be. And they're also going to be inspired internally to prepare themselves for the years to come, because they will just know, they will just feel, they will just have this inner truth that their future looks very, very bright, and they're going to do a lot of big and important things in the years to come. And of course, even astrologically, this makes a lot of sense. This is the age of Aquarius, so a lot of Aquarian energy, Aquarian goals and principles that are being born as we speak in the world, which also means humanitarianism, helping people, equality, solidarity, fixing social problems. But we also need an emotional part to this, and that is the sign of Pisces: empathy, deep understanding, and of course love. And in the second half of the year, Jupiter, the ancient ruling planet of Pisces, enters this part of the sky. So it will set the stage in order for Pisces natives to get empowered in the future and do their magic, so to speak. So as a conclusion, even though the first part of the year is gonna feel a little bit like this Twilight Zone, where weird things happen each and every day, but some of those weird things are pleasant surprises, and the second half of the year is gonna be learning and of course preparation for the opportunities of the future, which you just know that are coming into your life. So it's gonna be really exciting. Well, this concludes the Taroscope. Thank you so much for listening, and we wish everyone a blessed and very happy new year. And our New Year's wish here at 1 Million Nights is to find sponsors to be able to continue to offer you free guidance, taroscopes, horoscopes, predictions, spiritual guidance and inspiration even in the year 2021, but we might not be able to do that without your help. Thank you again for listening. Until next time, bye for now.